Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Vallen, and this is Immersive Engineering for Minecraft 1.10. And today we have item sorting, fluids, and all sorts of storage options. This is really good stuff. Once again, this is all pretty much pre-steel for the most part. I mean, sure, the last one had like two pieces of steel that you could possibly do, but by now you should have probably been into the nether, and this is going to help you out considerably, and it's a lot of fun, and it looks really crazy and wacky as well. So, as before, don't forget you've got your wooden and reinforced storage crates. You can always hook them up with a hopper. For instance, this one here has LV coil, breaker switch, transformer. Let's duplicate that, and then I'm going to put it up top, and because I've got this turned off, take the iron ingots out, I can turn that on, and it's just going to instantly drop the contents of the box there, which is pretty darn cool. Let me pick those back up. Alright, so in the hopper, I have a couple stacks of iron ingots, and as you saw before, when I turn this on, it's currently going in a circle with conveyor belts. That's right, conveyor belts. These things are totally awesome. They're a big improvement from before. 3 leather, 2 iron ingots, and a redstone gets you not 1, but 8 conveyor belts. They are wonderful because you get a lot of them, which is a good thing because leather is usually, well, you know, 1 cow, 2 cow, 3 cow. Ugh. Anyway, when you're trying to put it down, it's got this really handy UI that tells you what direction it's going to go in. It's wonderful, but that's not all that it can do. Let's just put this one down facing away from me. There we go. And I can have 2 of them facing together. Drop this on there, and it's just going to wobble in the middle. It's no big deal. It also will push entities. So let's see. I'll jump on here, and it will push me in a direction. It's great. Now, here's the other thing. All right, well, let's say I want to have this connect to it. Uh-oh, that's just going to push things off of the edge there. I mean, watch. It's just going to go straight off. So that is not going to work out. Well, you're going to have to fix that. To fix it, you can just use your engineer's hammer, as usual. Now you click this one, and you see that the side drops, and it now allows access for that item to go around a bend. Very cool. So you can change the directions on these things to the direction that you desire. And if you shift right-click, you can change it to go up a slant, down a slant, or back to where it was. Really wonderful. This is really good, and there are several options that you can make with this. So, to give an example here, we have a dropping conveyor belt. This is made with a conveyor belt and a hopper, and that's basically what it does. So you have stuff that goes up to it, and it will, if there is space below, drop the item inside. So for instance, let's switch this so that it goes that way. And, oop, it just went in. And let's see here, open it up, and the iron ingot went inside. This is the same chest that I had with the beginning equipment in it as well. But that's really handy. Now let's say that this chest is full. Well, then it would continue on down here to this area. So instead, I'm going to replace this with a regular conveyor belt. Let's just put that there for now. And then I can drop something else on here. And it's going to go over here and up. Whoops. This next one. Now it actually did go up. You see it's here. It was just a little graphical a little graphical issue there. But there you go. See, it just goes up and hops in. And therefore, there they are, right there. Pretty cool. This is a vertical conveyor belt, which is made simply with a couple iron ingots and 3 regular conveyor belts. But don't worry, it'll get you 3 vertical conveyor belts with it, because you're just adding kind of like these little rotating buckets on there that go around. It's really cool. And that's not all of the options that you have. You also have here a splitting conveyor belt, which the splitting conveyor belt made with 3 conveyor belts and an iron ingot. Don't worry, gets you 3 of those. And that's kind of a round robin version. So if I toss a bunch of stuff on here, let's toss a bunch of, I don't know, I guess iron will do. Throw a bunch on there. You'll see that some of it goes one way, some of it goes another. So a piece of the iron showed up over here, and a good majority of it showed up over here. So it's not reliable. It's kind of just a random chance of splitting. So keep that in mind when you are currently, using the splitting conveyor belt. Can be useful, might not be. And as usual, you can always change the direction these things face. You cannot change these for going up or downhill. I'm shift right clicking right now and it's not doing anything. Same thing with this. It does not do any differences for it. Now the dropping conveyor belt will actually do that. It's a little bit confusing that way, but it'll still work as if I were, there we go. Still drop it right in that chest. So you could have this drop into chests or going up a slant. Remember, this takes up a whole block, so that's why that works as such. Now, moving on from here, let's say I have a bunch of stuff coming in from a quarry. Well, I've got an item router here that can help sort things. Now, inside, I have blocks of iron, iron ingot, iron ore, all sorts of stuff. And you'll notice that there are colors on the outside: green, blue, and if you see here, I've got green, blue. So right now, insert is the blue side. So if I have something trying to go into it, it's going to try coming back out that same side. So I don't want anything on the blue. And it's got these little images at the top. You have your options for filtering ore dictionary. So if you have multiple versions of gold or iron or aluminum or aluminium or whatever, it can differentiate. You also have it filter NBT data, or you can have it fuzzy so that it filters items while ignoring their damage value, like armor or things of that nature, in case you dug up a chest. Well, it's pretty cool like that, so you can turn this into a sorting system, and then you can connect it to another sorting system and another sorting system. But the item router is made with some treated wood planks, iron ingots, redstone, and an iron mechanical component, which is iron and copper. It's really basic stuff, not too difficult of recipes so far. Now with that in mind, I said block of iron, iron ingot, iron ore. Well, let's see what happens if I drop some of those on here. 1, 2, 3. So you'll see they go into their different areas. These two, both of the irons went into a chest. The other one came over here. Oh, where the heck did that go? It went into a furnace. A furnace? What? And it's auto smelting with no fuel. How's it doing that? Well, that is being used with an external heater. This here is fantastic. With this, the recipe is some copper ingots around a copper coil block with some iron ingots. And for each side, it can have a furnace touching it. You do need to have one of the sides with a power output, which of course you can change with your engineer's hammer by, moving it around as needed so that you can get it to where you want it to be. Now, with this, I created like a little round robin, and it drops into an inventory, which in this case is a furnace, and I can have multiple different kinds. So I got caught up on a different conveyor belt there. Let's drop some different items here. Let's drop some iron ore, and let's drop some gold ore. So we've got two different kinds here. Now, with this, you'll see it went past the first one into the next one. First one, whoops, I just rotated that, my bad. You open up the furnace and you can see it's actually, wow, it's cooking really fast. That's because this thing will cook up faster as it goes on. Now you can turn that option off so that you can save yourself a little bit of RF, but it's such a small amount that it's not really worth it. Now you're probably wondering, where the heck's all the items going here that I've been dropping in on this? Well, I'll show you that in a moment too. Let's take half this stack, half that stack, half that stack, half that stack. There we go. Lots of stuff. Doesn't really matter if it all goes in or not. Gold, oh, it's not going in because I don't have it on the filter list. So let's put that over here as well. Then I can toss the gold back down and it will go through. Now I currently also have it set up with some hoppers down below, which is great. So once this stuff is done underneath the furnaces, auto processes, and if you're not standing so close to the conveyor belt, you pick it up yourself, it goes up and into a chest where everything is put away. You can also have these things sorting things out at the end if you want, going into different containers and so on. It's really great. I love it. But yeah, one external heater could heat 5 furnaces at once, and it uses a bit of energy. Right now it's hooked up to a creative energy cell, and it's not really worth going above a low voltage if you don't want to. So you hook up like a windmill or water wheel or something like that to this, and you can have this set and ready to go. No more need for coal because you're going to be using it to make coal coke and creosote. Now there are other options besides the ones that I've shown you here for fluid. Now there is a fluid pump, which if you hook it up with power, will give you a little bit more push in your fluid ducts. But before we get into that, let's talk about pipes. Now this here is a regular pipe, just made iron plates. You get 8. Get quite a bit for it. They look big and chunky, but they function just the same as fluid pipes in other mods. In fact, in some ways, they function better because they're a little smarter. Now you notice I also have some of the scaffolding on these pipes. Well, that's just a little aesthetic thing that can work. Now you'll notice I'm walking into it and I am not climbing up it. The scaffolding climbing ability drops off when you put a pipe through it, but you can just right-click the pipe and it will place it in place. To remove it, you actually have to remove the pipe, and then you get it back. So it's pretty cool that you can have, pipes going through scaffolding, so it's not so bad. And of course, you've got your different aluminum scaffolding textures, plus your treated wood texture. So it can be a hidden pipe in some ways. It's not too bad. Now, I currently have this hooked up to a metal barrel. You see there it says output. Well, if I have a bucket in my hand, I can see that it's empty. And over here, this one here is full. This one says input. So if I change this to output, and I change this to input, and this to output, and then I change this at the very end, which currently has nothing in it still, to input, you'll see it is now accepting creosote oil, which is great. Really good. It's going pretty fast too. The reason for that is because it is hooked up to a powered fluid pump. Now you don't have to use a fluid pump at all if you don't mind waiting for your fluids. And it's not that big of a difference, I have to say, but fluid pumps will help. So for instance, I have a metal barrel here and a metal barrel here, plus one fluid pipe in between. Now you'll notice that this one here has an input or an output on the bottom, and it has an input on the top of this one. So it dropped any liquids from the top to the bottom. Creosote oil, 12,000 millibuckets, right? So that's 12 buckets worth. Now if I take my hammer and I switch this to output and switch this to input, let's try that again. There we go. Then I hold the bucket here and you can see it's going. It's filling. A little bit slower than the other one, but it is currently going, and that's really good. It's defying gravity. That's right. It's draining out of here, going up to the top. So your pipes are actually pressurized. You don't need to worry about them requiring power in this version. So it's really handy. Now, if I change that back to output and this to input, then it goes back down again. Very simple and straightforward. So you can use your fluid pump with a little bit of power, not very much is needed at all, and you can speed things along. You can also use it to pump into things like a tank, which is pretty darn handy. It can hold 512 liquid buckets, and this is a multi-block structure similar to the crude furnace and the blast oven. Now, or the coke furnace and the blast oven. But anyway, this is kind of a cutaway diagram of how this is made. This here, ignore the pipes and the lever, and you'll have the unit here. But if you look, it's currently 5 blocks high. So I've got 1 on the bottom, 4 of the treated wood fences, and I just kind of finish it off with a bunch of iron sheet metal here. And there you go, that structure is complete. Now I just hit it with the hammer, or right click rather, and it turns into a tank, which you can see here has a lot of outputs. And I'm breaking this out so you can see it currently has one here as well. Now it will have inputs at the top and the side of the bottom. It has one output, which is the bottom of the bottom, if that makes sense. And of course you can activate this with or without a lever. Something that should be mentioned, if I didn't mention it before, is that if you have a barrel with material in it, it currently will be portable. So same as the crates, you can dig it up, take it with you, place it down again. But let's put some creosote oil in here. You'll see it goes in. It instantly fills into the tank through both top and bottom. Now if I break this, dump it in, it's still going in. And if I replace this and break the other, it is still going to go in. Same thing. So you can see that those are both inputs. And of course, I'm going to put this back, and that's just inputs on all of the 4 bottom sides. And of course, this being the output at the bottom, nothing is in there. So if I turn this lever on, it then drops the creosote oil into this barrel here. So you can have stuff go in, and then you can have it go out. Very simple, straightforward, can store 512 buckets of whatever you want. Very easy. Now, we also have a silo. This here is really cool. Now, it can hold over 40,000 of one item. In this case, cobblestone, which is probably one of the more common things you're going to have in here. And of course, I did the same cutaway as I did before. Now, this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks high. It's going to have the same exact layout as the other one, just a bit taller. So once I've got enough blocks here, then I just build this up. And same as before, I'm going to want to right-click it with my hammer, and it turns into the multi-block structure. Now, this one here has outputs on all 4 sides of the bottom and the bottom of the bottom. The only input is going to be at the top, which you can input with your different pipes and stuff. And of course, Immersive Engineering works with a lot of other mods. But in this case, I have a dropping conveyor belt hooked up with a bunch of vertical conveyor belts, all on a circle. Now, the thing is, this is turned off. But because there's a hopper, it's pulling from the inventory like a chest does. So keep that in mind if you're using hoppers on the bottom there. It's not going to work the way you think it is. Now, if I right-click, turn that on, then both sources would be functioning as proper. Now, if you just turn it on without something like a hopper to draw it out, it's not just going to have stuff drop out of it. So you would have to have something in place. So there is restriction on that. You're going to probably want a lever on the hopper as well, just to prevent it from also taking all the things out, though it is going to fill up with whatever is inside. So there you go. The silo, the tank, we've got the whole conveyor system, we've got your external heater, we've got your pipes and your fluid pump. Wonderful things all working together to give you an inventory system, a way of storing items and fluids, as well as transporting them and sorting them. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This concludes the getting started part of the mod, and I'll be getting into more bit by bits as I progress through. Soon we'll be getting into using steel to make a lot more advanced machinery, tools, and items. Don't forget to give a like, subscribe, and share the Mischief with others if you think that they'll enjoy or use this to their benefit. Till next time, folks, I'll see ya.